Sure, what would you like to hear?
When Deacon Stanley Kujinski takes a seat at the organ, everyone stops what they're doing to listen. Playing since the first grade, he has had a role at churches from Poland to Detroit, and it usually involves music.
I believe that serving Christ and His Church is a very honorable thing to do. When I came to the United States, I was already 29 years old. And in Poland, I studied at the Academy of Catholic Theology in Warsaw. And during the time of martial law, solidarity, and all that kind of anti-communist movement, I came here to the United States.
It seems providential that Deacon Stanley would end up here at St. Stan's Catholic Church, where so many with Polish heritage have found their faith community.
Probably 7-8 years ago, somebody suggested to me that I could become a permanent deacon here in the Diocese of Saginaw because there was a need for someone to coordinate the pastoral work among the Polish immigrants here. And of course, with me being the liturgist and the organist here at St. Stan's, I had to always translate homilies for the priest and so on. And right now, as a permanent deacon, I can read the gospel. I can preach as well during the Mass, which we celebrate monthly.
Last summer, Bishop Joseph Sistone ordained 4 permanent deacons for the Diocese of Saginaw, which hadn't happened in the diocese in over 25 years.
It was an absolutely wonderful experience. I just didn't understand the graces that would come through ordination until I actually went through the process. And it more than met my expectations. I've never prepared for a sacrament so long in my life. It was about an 8-year process, really, with the lay ministry program, coupled with the diaconate formation program.
Deacon James Domicio always felt called to serve the Lord in his church.
In the 60s, I felt I was called to the priesthood, so I went to the seminary for high school, which you did in those days. And then I didn't really feel like I was called to the celibate life, so I got into a couple different careers. And then finally, I just kept hearing this voice calling to me, and I got into the lay ministry program.
What we're trying to do in this course is to give you some very, very basics of business information.
It's not uncommon for deacons to have separate careers away from the church. At the university where he works, Deacon James has a different title, professor.
I think what it brings is a whole different dimension where I'm in the married state right now, unlike the priests who aren't. So I have a relationship that they don't have that I have to make sure that I'm attending to, as well as my vocation.
Permanent deacons may baptize, witness marriages, and officiate at funerals. They may serve Mass by proclaiming the gospel and preaching the homily.
Well, I represent the church in a special way. I serve God, and that's why I'm fasting. I'm not an ordinary person anymore. I'm a representative of the church.
Stanley's family has also seen a change since the ordination.
My dad just kind of changed a little bit. He's like a different person now. And so kind of changes the whole household too.
Each diocese has its own requirements for diaconal formation. Deacon James believes God is calling many others to serve the church in this way.
I happen to know there's a number of people standing in line in the Diocese of Saginaw wanting to get in this program, wanting to participate in this very, very unique outreach. The key word that I always heard and read about the diaconate program was this concept of seamlessness. That is to say, you're in the world, but you're not in the world, and you're trying to weave everything together between your spiritual life as well as your business life or your vocation.
From baptisms to weddings and funerals, Deacon Stanley and James say they are here to be of service to diocesan priests and the faith community.
It's wonderful that the work of the Holy Spirit has been such that the diaconate program has been revived and is just flourishing, not only in Michigan but as well as across the country. I think it was a much needed piece to the whole puzzle that needed to be put back in place.